Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, available on the DAZN. Hello, Frank.
Hello, Oscar Bevis. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I want to apologise for kind of stalking you around the hotel. But do you know what it is? It's like you were having conversations about obviously important work stuff with guys from the DAZN and stuff that I'm not privy to. So just kind of stay back a little bit. But I also need to
listening.
Let you know I'm there.
Yeah.
No, I'm out of earshot.
I would never forget you were there because you can't because you're literally within inches of my.
Hovering.
Yeah, just like what is it? The peripheral vision.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like there at all times, as if I'm going to run away. When would I run away?
When will you run away from this?
I've actually got it in my phone. I have a date. My missus asked me the other day because I've said to her for years, 5 more years and I'm done. And I keep changing the date of that 5 years. I've got to be honest with you. So we made an agreement that I would set a date. And she asked me the other day, and I typed retired into my calendar, and there is a date in there.
What is that date? Can you show me that date?
Let's find it. Retired. 30th of June, 2031.
I was going to get you to show me, and then I make out it was Sunday after the fight. But
No, I'm not retiring then.
30th of June,
2031.
2031.
Yeah. All done.
So you said 5 years, but it's 6.
It's
no,
6
5
years
and a
this. Well, it's 6 years this summer. No, sorry, 5.5 years. Yeah. So 5 years this summer. So that is my date where I'm going to sail off into the sunset.
Will you be happy when all of this is over? Not that you don't
No,
like
it's
this.
not. I'm a very happy person. I just think to myself, in life, as life progresses, your goals and focuses change. And I've given, so far, 17 years of my life full time to this business. And I love working, I love hard work, but I think give it another 5 or 6 years and that'll be it for me. And I'm one of those people, I'm quite content as an individual. Like I could do similar thing, I could be quite structured every day. Go and play paddle, go and play golf, go to the gym, go in the sauna steam, have lunch with someone, have dinner with someone.
Oh my God, you got it all planned out.
Yeah, no, I could do that.
Days.
And I'd still do something. But I travel 300 nights a year, and that's not sustainable. So there has to be some. And it's also quite nice to go out on top and say, thanks very much, see you later, I'm off.
What do you think a worthy leaving present would be? So was it 17 years you've given to Matchroom, 23 years you give to Matchroom. What is a worthy leaving present for the legacy you've left at Matchroom? What would you look at and go, actually, do you know what, yeah?
Just to say he was good, he was. I don't really like...
Bollocks, helicopter.
No, not a helicopter. I don't want a helicopter. I don't trust helicopters. They scare me, I've got to be honest with you. Dave Allen. All right, mate. No, do you know what? I don't really want a present. I want to enjoy myself. I want to have a great another 5 years or so. This life, as crazy as it is, has given me a spectacular life. I've done things that, I never could have imagined have done, and boxing has given me that life. But also the hard work has given me that. It's not like I just got lucky. People have this view that I got lucky. I got lucky to meet Eddie, but he didn't want to give me a job. I pestered him, and then I worked my bollocks off for the following 17 years and continue to do it to this date. So yeah, I just want time. I want to spend time with my family, and that your focuses change. I've done the work that I've done for these many years, so that when I get to that point in my life, I can go and do what I want to do. A lot of people will work probably as hard as I do over a period of their life, over 40 years, and I've just done it in half the time, but double the amount of effort within that time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, enjoying the fruits of your labour and freedom. I will say, when it does end, if the Stomping Ground still exists, fingers crossed, touch wood, I will make sure that we are peddling. He was good, he was. About
Thank
Frank
you.
Smith.
And I'll do one interview when I leave, and that'll be it. I'm also looking forward to not getting asked the same question 24 times.
Well, I'll ask you a couple of new things today that have come to light. First off, 3 press conferences. Is that a Matchroom record for a day? I've known back-to-back, but triple presser?
Triple presser. Something a bit different. We've we've got a busy period. We got runs of shows every week, so it was just a way to get everything in one time. You know, obviously Monaco show December 6th, as I've said many times, the best card we've ever done in Monaco. I think December 17th, Visioli headlines at the Indigo against Joe Howarth, and December 20th we go to Ghana. Accra for our first show there. Looking forward to that. Craig Richards, Dan Aziz, Leo Atang on there as well. So, you know, it was just about getting everyone together. Today we had some time before the week got too hectic. So, yeah, it's a busy end to the year. I think we've got something like 8 shows in 7 weeks in 5 countries we're working on.
Yeah, really busy time, and we can't cover all of them shows in too much detail because obviously we've got to cover the big week, and we'll cover them shows when we're there. I want to start by talking about Chris Eubank Jr. So, subject to legal proceedings from the British Boxing Border Control and Matchroom following the comments made at September's launch press conference. I guess just kind of an opening, say, statement from you, just kind of on that news.
Yeah, look, you can't say the things Chris says and not expect some kind of repercussions. That's just the reality. You know, Chris comes out with some sensible things sometimes, but then he says stupid stuff. Like to suggest we stopped his ambulance. That's what he did. He said, you know, these are my enemies. Who else would do it? You know, he is my brother-in-law at the end of the day. I don't particularly love him. I mean, you wouldn't love him if he'd said the things he said about me, about you. But the suggestion, there's a lot of people I don't like. The suggestion that we would try and do anything to harm someone is absolutely ludicrous. And there's a level. You know, like, play your games, say your things to get attention, but just don't be an idiot. And sadly, sometimes he ruins good points by being an idiot and taking it too far. And then he's too arrogant to go, actually, shouldn't have said that. Because the suggestion that, look, everyone, you can have your differences with the British Boxing Border Control. Do I agree? Do we always agree every day? No. But the suggestion that they would go out of their way to harm someone and stop an ambulance, and the suggestion that we would go out of our way to harm someone is ludicrous. It's a dangerous sport. You know, we know that. So we have to do everything in our power to make it as safe as possible, as we possibly can. But it is a dangerous sport. But, you know, I think he just takes it that step too far. And he thinks, you know, you can go through life saying what you want, and you can. But there's repercussions to that, you know. You can't just go around saying someone, you know, basically insinuating, which is what he did. And all this talk about, you know, I had to put that post out there because all Eddie ever said was, he said what Chris said, that we tried to stop his ambulance. Did you see us in that clip trying to stop an ambulance? It was an 18-second clip. You know, and look, it's one of those things. We shall see.
Do you expect him to make, or do you think this, I don't want to say end, well, I guess ends with, is the line drawn under this with a public apology?
I can't talk for the British Boxing Border Control, but you know, but again, he's too arrogant. He's too arrogant to go, actually, I shouldn't have said that. Because the insinuation that we tried to stop his ambulance, Eddie, me, Matchroom, I mean, it's wild. And for the most part, people with a brain go, that is absolutely ridiculous. You know, but there are people out there that believe the stuff that Chris comes out with. And Chris spouts some utter bollocks. Like, that's what Chris does. And he's very good at selling a show. He's very good at talking things up. But there's a line. So, you know, all he has to do is apologise.
I mean, it's just not film, it's real life. The idea that you would stop an ambulance is, like you said, I think ludicrous is the right word.
But I've been in this sport for, as I say, 17 years of my life. And you know, unfortunately, we've been at shows where fighters, you know, we've had things in a fighter has passed away. No one wants to be, you know, you want to do everything within your power. Again, at the same time, accepting that we have to accept that the sport is dangerous. Of course we do, but we have to put everything in place, and that's where it's a tough one to swallow because it's just that step too far. Play your games, say what you want to say, but just don't be an idiot.
They will break any rules was kind of one of his quotes.
Yeah, but it's all a load of. He's surrounded by morons, surrounded by absolute morons. He's got a promoter who doesn't know what they're doing. He turned up for the weigh-in late. The rule of the British Boxing Border Control is you have an hour, you have that period to weigh in. He turned up, I don't know, I can't remember now, 45 minutes late, and then he blames everyone else because he's unprofessional and he's got an unprofessional team around him. There's no one else's fault than himself. So rather than be the victim, and don't get me wrong, certain things I can sit and agree, but like it's always like they're doing everything within their power. No, we're not. Be professional. That's all. You know, and if you can't do that, don't moan. Or, you know, this isn't going to like this. It's like, just turn up on time. It's easy, isn't it? I mean, it's not rocket science. I buy him he's got 47 watches, I think. A few snide ones in there, just like the jackets.
I mean, I've got a list of the fines here, right? So it was 100, and this is just in the saga, the Eubank Benn saga. 100 grand for the egg slap.
Yeah.
375 grand, because it was 500,000. I think it was dollars was reported, but 375 grand for miss weight. 10,000 for the sauna use. It was successful in the first fight, but it's been an expensive saga with Conor. Could it get even more expensive, this saga?
I don't know, maybe he just doesn't like money. But look,
I'm not sure about that
it's
bit.
the game you play, isn't it? It's like, you slap someone with an... The best thing is they then complain that that he got grabbed around the throat by Nigel. It's like, you slap someone with an egg. What do you expect?
His son.
It's the game you play. Like, if you want to play the game, expect the game back. You know? I mean, look, was 100 grand a lot of money? Sure. Have they done it before? Yes. It's not the first time. It's not like they're just picking him out and finding him. They find other fighters. You know, the weight, he missed weight. And everyone looks at there's this storyline of Matchroom pushing him to make this weight. He got paid an absolute fortune to agree to terms that he didn't have to agree to anything, did he? So he got approached, obviously, by a middle party being seller, being the contracting party. These are the terms. You up for it? Yep, sure. Getting paid a load of money. Oh, 160, you're doing this to him, you're making him make weight. It's his natural weight. All he was talking about before was fighting Janibek or fighting Lara or fighting Adames for the 160 world title. There's absolutely no difference here. The only difference here, he's fighting someone who's 147 pound coming up in 2 weight divisions. So, you know, they're very good at spinning narrative. They're brilliant at it. You know, and fair play to him for that.
One of the narratives that I'm hearing through the grapevine that I guess will progress as the week comes on, if anyone manages to get hold of him, is that, again, Chris Eubank Sr. is not happy with this rematch and thinks that people are kind of, I guess, trying to damage Chris in his mind. Is there anything you can tell us about whether Senior's happy or not with?
I couldn't tell you. I don't. But again, like, I don't get involved in Chris's boxing career. I don't really have much of I don't have a relationship, as you can imagine, outside of Chris's boxing career. All I can say is he is a grown man, right? And we can all have views. We can all have views. You could sit here and say Conor shouldn't be going up 2 weight divisions to fight Chris Eubank Jr. You know, that could be a view. But he's doing it, and he's getting paid healthily to do it, right? And he could have had other fights, yes. Would he have been paid less? Yes. But he's taking the biggest fight and the biggest test, and there is a price you pay for that, you know? When it comes to Chris is getting paid to fight at 160, his weight, that him and all his team say are his natural weight, and, you know, he's not just doing it for this fight. Most of his fights have been at 160. But I couldn't tell you on Chris Eubank Sr. I wouldn't know. I mean, I think he's on TalkSport now. I'm sure he will have his opinion on there. He's very open with his opinion, of course. But Chris is his own man. And all these people around him, well, if you think it's such a bad idea, why do you agree to do it? Like, if you're so righteous to say he shouldn't be doing this, don't be in his team. Just go, do you know what? I don't want to be a part of this. If it's so wrong, you know?
Will you be happy when all this is over?
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to... Look, I'll be open. I was the one pushing it because I think he's the biggest fight out there. Chris makes nowhere near as much money against anyone else.
Gave us the
Conor
first
makes
time.
no... Yeah, exactly. And look at the event it gave us. It's the biggest event to be made. It was the natural fight to be made. That's why I always pushed it. I was always open about it. But I can't wait for it to be over. I have to tread a very fine line. I'd be a lot more outspoken than I probably am if it was a different scenario. I think I get people say about me, I can't believe he's saying this about him. Chris has said a lot of things about me which are just completely untrue, right? And he doesn't know me. Chris has never bothered having a conversation with me in 10 years of my life. I'm very close with a number of members of his family, obviously, but Chris has never tried to have a conversation with me. So for people to sit there and go, oh, he's going on there talking these things, they know nothing about me. He knows nothing about me. He doesn't have a relationship with me. You know, and so for him to say all these things and then people go about me, oh, he shouldn't be saying that about his brother-in-law. Wait a minute. I haven't said anything detrimental about him. He's called me a scumbag. He's called me a liar. He's called me a bad person. You know, a number of things in all of this. I've not said one bad thing about him. I said he acts a victim. He does. Completely. You know, and everything he does is part of narrative, and well done to him. You know, and in that first press conference, all I was ever going to say was I have a lot of respect for both of those guys because they're really coming from their father's shadows, and they proved in the ring that night why they deserve to be there. You know, the dads put them there. let's be completely honest. Without their dads, they wouldn't be in front of 70,000 people,
shoulders, though,
right?
yeah.
But yeah, so you have to respect both of them for what they went in there and done. So as much as I don't see eye to eye with Chris with the things he said about me, I have respect for him from a boxing perspective. I don't respect a lot of the other things he's done. I'm not going to sit here and lie. But I'm also not going to slag him off. I'm not going to call him the things he's called me, because that's not the person I am. But for people who, I read comments, it's like, oh, why is he saying that about his brother? I'm not. He's saying a number of things about me. I'm just giving, a balanced view. And I've never said I hope Conor goes in and beats him. I've always been balanced with it. It's an awkward one for me. So I can't wait for Sunday. It will all be over. I'm sure my relationship won't change. Just being honest. Because I'm not the kind of person who's going to sit there and just accept being, called what I've been called. Because that's not me. You've known me long enough, and a lot of people know me long enough. People can take their view, make a view of me based on interviews, but not knowing me. And the truth is I'm none of the things he said. But if he believes that, and he doesn't want to have a conversation about it, if he's not man enough to have a conversation about it, so be it.
All right, well, let's switch it for the last question from Chris to Conor. Look, there was the period where he was out the ring for a long time. He had the 2 fights in America, and like you said, this was the fight to be made, the big money fight. And I feel like I might be wrong, but this is just a presumption from the outside, not even from speaking to Conor, that he was desperate for this fight because it was a big paycheck. It's like wealth, generational wealth. That paycheck has now come, locked in for number 2. It's another big paycheck. Because it's happened, do you think there's kind of a bit of a weight off the shoulders of Conor, where he's like, actually, there's not so much demand and need for this first fight. I can kind of relax and go, you know what? This might be a better time for me to get one over on Chris. If I'm making sense in what I'm saying.
I think, look...
Because there was a time where that paycheck was looking unlikely to come, that big paycheck.
It was always going to come. That's the reality of it. That fight was always going to happen one way or the other. I think when it comes to Conor, people forget the amount of pressure that was on him. He'd had 3 years out of the ring. He'd gone through all the stuff he'd gone through, and whatever your view of him is, he's still an individual. He's still a human. Whether you like him, dislike him, like the way he handled things, he's been quite open about it. People are going to like him. People are going to dislike him. That's the world we live in. We're not all going to be liked. But there was a lot of pressure on him going into that fight. He had a long time out of the ring. He'd been through a lot, which has obviously made him grow as an individual. I think going into this fight, he's a lot more composed. I think he realises that anger takes a lot of energy. And look, they're 2 complete polar opposite people. Chris is cool, ice, cold, individual. Conor is an emotional individual. You don't that's, and it can work both ways. But I think this calm, composed Conor that you're seeing is going to be beneficial for him. I think the reality is they can both get better. The first fight, they can both improve on the first fight. That's the truth. Who can improve more? Let's see. And that's why, but one thing's for sure, they're going to give the night an entertainment that they gave the first time, and they're going to do that again. But I think Conor being more composed, I think having that experience now, he'd never experienced anything quite like that. And it was 3 years of tension, build up, etc. Now it's like this is a fresh start. That's all out the window. So I can't wait. It's going to be a great fight, and wish them all the best.
It's going to be mega. Big end to the year for Matchroom as well. I'll end by asking you if you could give one word to sum up. I know the year's not finished. Conor might get a massive result for Matchroom. If you could give one word at this point, was it November the 11th, to sum up Matchroom's year, what would that word be?
Spectacular.